Hey guys, we're here for another Ask Carl. I really appreciate, by the way, all the kind comments that you got. A lot of you people just didn't ask questions. They just did a nice kind comment about the 13 years. We had our 13-year anniversary, me releasing my first YouTube lesson just last week. So a lot of people commented on that, and I really appreciate it. I read them all. So now, if I don't get to your question in this thing, if you did have a question, I probably answered it in a previous Ask Carl because I get a lot of the same questions again. So maybe watch some of those if you don't see your question here. But let's jump into it here because I got a lot to get to. So Leo asked, I learned so many songs from you, and I can't thank you enough for what you do in the community. I feel so much more accomplished and confident in my playing when I can understand and play a song. And I only get there because of what you do. I appreciate it. That being said, how do you learn a song so accurately? Do you listen to it over and over, or do you watch the original performances, maybe music sheets? So I don't typically use any kind of sheets. I don't personally think I memorize the song very fast when I use tab. If I get my ear into it and I listen to it, and I can memorize it a lot quicker, which is very important for me because I have a lot of songs I have to do every week. So I have to find the quickest ways. And I do, so typically what I'll do is I'll listen to it on just their YouTube video. YouTube allows you to slow it down if it's like a fast section, so I'll do that. And after I do that, I will watch a live performance if it's available on YouTube, just to make sure the notes are being played in the right area, because that's thinking about the guitar. It can be played in multiple ways, the same exact note. So I want to make sure I'm doing the same positions. That's not something that was always possible. Some of my early YouTube videos might not be as accurate where how they're playing it. The notes might be right, but the positions are wrong because there just wasn't that available when I first started, that many live performance footage to see how it was actually played. But I usually like to transcribe it first and then go and check out the live performance. Nathan says, thank you so much for what you do for all of us, Carl. Over the past year, you've helped reignite a passion that has brought me much joy through your first semester of college, and I can't begin to show you how much of an impact it has had on me. Thank you very much. Is there another instrument that you would like to be able to play that you haven't gotten around to yet? I'd love to be able to play piano. I think piano is like the ultimate instrument for like writing and composing and performing and stuff. But I'm trying to get some piano practice routine going and getting a little bit but I haven't been very consistent with it. But piano would probably be the one I'd choose. Priachi says, sorry, I'm going to butcher some people's names. Thank you for much for your content. What is your biggest influence guitar-wise when starting out? Steve Vai, by far. Isaac says, congrats, Carl, on 13 years. I've learned every song I know from you. You've been a great inspiration to me. My question is, what was your first guitar and what band influenced you the most? First guitar was a Kramer Focus 1000, all black. So I got it for Christmas when I was like 11. And then band that influenced me, when it comes to my own music, my favorite band doesn't really influence my own music too much. My favorite band is a band named Sigur Rós. They're kind of an ambient band. But I just love their music. But I'm more of an instrumental rock guitarist when it comes to my own music. So I don't really have a band that influenced me in a way. Like Steve Vai, more recently, Alan Holdsworth's music, I love that. But there's not a specific band, more like specific players that I have. Miami Beach says, thanks for all the great tutorials. What's the best advice you give to someone at early stages in learning guitar? Focus on the rhythm, especially if you're an adult learner. I feel like learning how to feel rhythm intuitively and not overanalyzing and trying to figure out strumming patterns or whatever. Setting your hand in motion and listening to what you're hearing and mimicking it. Just intuitively feeling rhythm and the sounds that you're hearing. That's why children pick up quicker, in my opinion. That's why I think a 10-year-old can pick up faster than a 60-year-old. Not because they're smarter or have more developed, whatever. I think it's mostly because they're just more intuitive and they don't overcomplicate things by overanalyzing and want to see a pattern for it. They just move and they just do things the easiest way possible, just by listening and mimicking. And getting into that, especially with rhythm, is very important in the beginning because everything else falls into place a lot easier after that. Hannah says, happy 13th YouTube videoversary. My question, how do you begin to figure out songs by ear, and how do you advise and teach others to do that? I never really, so when I first started playing guitar, I wasn't really into learning music too much. I was always just really about technique, exercises, and theory and all that stuff. So I really didn't start transcribing a lot of music until I started teaching guitar when I was 17. And because you get a student in front of you, and that's what they wanted to do. They wanted to learn music, and I was like, oh, okay. So I was really like a trial by fire. I probably just butchered half of them, or most of them, I'm sure, in the beginning, trying to figure out how to transcribe music. But because I had somebody in front of me paying me to do it, so it was pretty intense. But at the same time, I started studying ear training, or musicianship training is what he called it, because it's kind of theory with ear training, how to learn the theory, how to hear the theory that you're learning, with a guy named Dick Grove. And he was brilliant. So I was learning that at the same time, learning how to, a formal ear training, while having students make me transcribe music for them, popular music for them. So that combined really kind of helped develop my ear. But I really think the best way to do it is do some formal ear training, but there's also an element to just knowing the musical style very well. So learning music, even if you're not transcribing yourself, is going to help you become a better transcriber eventually. Because if you learned, 10 Metallica songs, when you go to try to figure out a Metallica song yourself, you already know kind of how they write their music, what kind of chords they use, and kind of, what kind of patterns Kirk Hammett might use in his solos and stuff like that. So that is half of it too. Half of it is having a good trained ear. The other half is just knowing the style well. And that's something that you just get from experience of playing a lot of music in that style. Gabriel maybe. Congratulations, it's great to have you, that you've been here for all these years of such awesome content for the guitar community. I'm so happy for you and hope you continue to grow and enjoy what you're doing. As a question, I would like to know, what has been the most pleasant surprise you've had while covering a song or artist in your videos? Maybe an artist that you admired more than before, or that taught you an unexpected or valuable lesson. It's funny because when I first, not only just YouTube, just teaching period, when I first started playing guitar, the first thing that made me want to play guitar was I was on a family beach trip, and we were on this balcony overlooking like the pool area of this hotel that we're in, and somebody down at the pool area was cranking like all along the watchtower, and it was just reverberating through these buildings, and I just thought it was such an incredible, powerful sound. I was just a little kid, and it immediately just made me want to be a guitar player. It kind of started from there, but I never really listened to Hendrix's music. I immediately got into like the Shredders, the Steve Vais, and I got into the scene because that's when it was cool back then. And I kind of skipped all the guys from the 60s and 70s that influenced my heroes, like the current modern rock guys that I was listening to at the time. So going back, when I started teaching and people wanted me to transcribe by Hendrix or Zeppelin, or even Pink Floyd, I became aware of their music from teaching, really, and why Hendrix was brilliant at what he did. So that's probably just this whole era that I finally discovered and listened to because I had to. And now it's a huge part of what I do. Pink Floyd is one of my favorite bands of all time, and it gives me a better understanding and respect for what the people did, like Hendrix and stuff, and why they are so revered. VR says, happy anniversary, man. One of the best guitar channels on YouTube. Thank you. My question is, how and when did you start on guitar, and do you have formal lessons, or self-taught, or a combination? So I started like when I was 11, a ton of lessons. I went to a bunch of different teachers when I was a kid. And then as I got further along, I was taken from multiple teachers at the same time. I'd had like an ear training teacher. I had another teacher that taught me classical guitar, and another guy that taught me rock guitar. So I was doing all that at the same time. So I was really kind of juggling these things. And so, I took it serious. So I had a lot of great teachers. And I didn't really study, past my teens, I didn't study rock guitar with anybody, but I still studied music for orchestral music. I studied when I moved out and in my 20s, and I would study orchestral music or classical guitar with like some great teachers out here in the LA area. So I still study music. I've been a music geek. I love studying music. I have a huge amount of books that I just still got. I love studying it. But I haven't, in a rock sense, I haven't taken a lesson in that or studied that really, besides transcribing in a very long time. Ethan says, Carl, you have truly been my teacher as someone without an actual in-person teacher. Been with you for about 7 years now. That is awesome. My question is, who's your favorite non-shredder type guitar player who knows how to serve the song? David Gilmour by a mile. I love David Gilmour. Dusty says, thank you so much for teaching so many guitarists. My question is, would there be one song that you could recover that you haven't already done for one reason or another? Actually, when it comes to the YouTube channels, I'd like to get back to, I'd like to do Hotel California again. I had that up. I think the Eagles are just not down for guitar lesson videos. So that would be a big one that I'd like to kind of redo and put back up on the channel. And I'd quit getting requests for it, which would be great. But at the same time, I think I can make it really great. But I just don't think until that changes. Maybe it has. I don't know. But I can't really do anything about it. John says, thank you, Carl, for all the hard work and awesome song lessons. What's your next big buy on musical gear? A guitar, an amp, or recording gear? It won't be a guitar. I got plenty of guitars. I'm using mostly like modeling process, like the Helix. I am recording and starting to work on my own solo album right now. So it'll probably be like software related, like plugins or some stuff that I want. Some orchestral plugins or what I need for the recording process, but it probably won't be like an amp or anything. But I have been thinking about maybe trying some amps out, but I don't know. It seems like a bear to record. Juliet says, I love your channel, Carl. My question is, what was the best gig you ever went to and why? Thanks for everything you do and have a great day. Well, my favorite band is Sigur Rós, and I've seen them live like 8 or 9 times. 8 or 9, not 89. It's probably one of their shows. I've seen some great concerts. I saw Paul McCartney play in Greensboro in like 2014. He was just phenomenal. But I would say one of the Sigur Rós shows, I saw them at the Santa Barbara Bowl in the rain. So Sigur Rós in the rain was just really cool. But anyway, yeah, I don't know. That's a hard one, but it would probably be something like that. M. Valen says, congrats, Carl. Hope all's well. Would you buy any offset style guitars like a V's or Explorer sometime in the future? I've never been fans of those types of guitars. That I like to be able to sit down on the guitar and have it, be molded. I like Strat style guitars that are actually made to be held by a human being. So I just, they're balanced and they're contoured for, to make it comfortable to play. So I never got into the crazy wild guitar shapes that aren't really ergonomic. So yeah, I probably wouldn't buy any. Abhigia, I'm sorry if I just butchered your name. Do you have released any original music of yours? I would love to listen to your songs. You have great knowledge and skills guitar. Thanks, man. I will very soon. This is something that I've wanted to do for a long time, and I've had music out there, but I'm not proud of it, so I don't like advertise it. It was like kind of commercial modern rock music, which is not my thing. But now I'm doing my own music. It's hard to I have a lot going on with YouTube and my academy and stuff. So a lot of times when I have a guitar in my hands, I'm working. So I really want to get my own original stuff. And I also have a project that I'm doing with my brother too. So it's a big goal of mine. The second half of the year has been kind of hectic with my life, so if I can just get that under control, I get back to my music. I'm hoping in this coming year you will see some original music from me, and hopefully you'll enjoy it. It'll be really cool. Sammy says, thank you so much for everything, Carl. Here's my question. How do I get better finger synchronization? My big thing with finger synchronization is, one, practice alternate picking. That's the one technique that requires the most synchronization in the hands, even more than sweep picking or economy picking. Alternate picking, there's one movement for the picking hand with one finger movement in the fret hand. So when you're practicing alternate picking, it's working on synchronization more than anything you can do. Beyond that, when you're playing, my best tip for alternate picking is don't have lazy fingers. I know it sounds stupid, but if you're a guy a guy or girl, whatever, a man or a woman that keeps their index finger down while they're like doing, say it's like a 3-note lick. So they're just descending 3 notes on one string. And they're picking the 3 notes. But down here, they're basically just doing 2 movements to make those happen, because they have this finger down, then they move it up to have the next finger, and then they move that up to the next finger. So it's an uneven amount of events going on in the hands, and that's hard to synchronize. So you want to feel like a separate movement for every single thing that you do in the left hand. Don't just leave a finger there and just do like that, you know? Try to feel, even if it doesn't have to be dramatic, but feel separate movement for each finger. And it doesn't mean you have to be staccato when you're playing it, but you can, if you do that, you feel an actual event happening for every single note here. It's going to be a lot easier to synchronize it here. So you feel 3 here, you feel 3 here. It's easier to time them together than having 3 here and 2 here and trying to create the sound of a 3. You know what I mean? So just it's easier for me to do it. Join my Guitar Academy. My this new technique course I have going live in about a week and a half will kind of detail that in very well. Charles says, "Hey Carl, really like your channel. In fact, most hard songs that I know I learned here. You always make it so clear. It always seems so easy when you do it. That ends when I try it." My question is, with all your hands control and technique, if I ask you to learn the hardest song in all genres of music, do you think one of the music genres will take you longer to learn than other? Probably classical. I actually spent more time doing classical than anything. So I used to be a lot better, pretty advanced classical player. I did start having some issues with my right hand. This year, those issues have improved drastically. So I've been getting back into classical guitar, but it would take me a while to get my chops back, and it's still not 100%, but it's much, much better. I would say classical guitar right now, just because I'm still a little bit limited with my fingerstyle ability, but it's coming back online, so hopefully that won't be the case for very long. True asks, "Hey Carl, congrats on the 13th anniversary. Any question I have is, did you ever think when starting that people would use your lessons often and rely so heavily on them? I know I do, and many people seem to as well. Does it make sense to you, or does it surprise you? By the way, I never realized how much I relied on your lessons until you got hacked." Thank you so much. Yeah, it was not the greatest way to learn. That a lot of people use my lessons by getting hacked, so that was not good. But yeah, I don't know. I mean, that's why I put them up, hoping that people would watch them. And if you just don't think about it, and YouTube's a weird game. You can't let your ego get involved with it. If you do, you're never going to be happy with what you have. A lot of people, they have 10 subscribers and they're scrambling, and they just look at somebody who has 1,000 subscribers like it's this pinnacle. But once they get to 1,000, they're not going to be happy. You're not. It just doesn't work. Once you get to 1 million, you're not happy, because there's other people who do same things that have many more than you. So you just got to drop it and say, yeah, I'm just, I do this. As jobs go, it's a pretty cool one, and you know, I am happy being a D-list YouTuber that makes a good living at it, and I do not care that I'm happy for other people that are successful on YouTube, especially when it's into like guitar-related stuff, because we need more guitar players. We need less fake music out there. I don't know how to say it. We need less computers involved in music and more actual instruments. And so yeah, anybody that teaches guitar on any level, whether they're a much smaller channel than mine or a much bigger channel than mine, I'm just as big of a cheerleader for them as I am my own stuff. Just because I think it's when I hear modern music these days, it's frightening. But anyway. So, but yeah, it's just one of those things you can't think about. Like, you can't get your ego involved in anything, this kind of stuff, when you're having like social media and all that stuff. It's like, it's just not healthy. So I've kind of learned to kind of just take it as it goes and just keep plugging away and not really worried about it and be happy for what you got. Jameson, my buddy, were you aware of how impactful your channel has been to the community after you got hacked, and how did the hack change your perspective on your career? It made me realize that I can't rely on YouTube forever. This stuff could be gone tomorrow. I could wake up tomorrow, my channel could be gone permanently. So I have my academy outside of YouTube, which is really where I earn a living, is my academy. So hopefully you guys will check that out. But yeah, but that's also kind of pushing me to do my own music and have my own thing. So I just don't want to always rely on being a YouTuber my whole life, because things have changed so drastically since I started YouTube 13 years ago. And there's no telling where it'll be 13 years from now. It could be short form videos that are 10 seconds long, and that's all you can put on the platform. That seems like just crazy stuff could happen. So, and that won't fit to teach, crazy train note for note. So I got to try something else. But so I don't know. So I'm just not going to rely. I'm trying to get other things going, especially my own music is what I really want to do now. And hopefully in the next, you guys will listen to that and enjoy that, and I can have a career in that way too. So if YouTube just blew up, I could just go, oh, whatever. Just hop on a tour bus and make a living that way. Imre says, he's got a couple questions. If you had a chance to go back in time, what particular technique would you practice? And 2, what are your thoughts about the legend himself, Guthrie Govan? Guthrie's incredible. He's frightening. So yeah, he's kind of the consummate guitar player, I think, right now that's out there. I wish he would make another album like Erotic Cakes. And I wish Erotic Cakes was available on Spotify. It's not, so I have to listen to it on YouTube. But I love Erotic Cakes. So I liked that kind of stuff. His other stuff is fine too, but I wish he'd make an album like that again. It was really, really great. And if I had a chance to go back in time, what particular technique would I practice? I think the most important technique for guitar playing, or mine especially, is probably just alternate picking. So I practiced plenty of that, so I probably don't need to go back and practice it again. But yeah, probably just fingerstyle stuff. I would have maybe started from the very beginning doing a lot of classical stuff instead of waiting later on, after already playing rock guitar for like 5 or 6 years before getting serious about classical guitar. All right, Dual Man asks, hello, Carl. Thanks for what you do, and greetings from France. We love you here. Well, that's cool. In a 2016 video, you said you put stainless steel frets on your main Eric Johnson Strat. Do you still have them, or did you have to change them? Overall, are you happy with the stainless steel frets? So yeah, they still have the same. I still have the same frets on it. It's still my main guitar, and I have not had to have it refretted since I had stainless steel frets put on it in 2013. So it's been almost 10 years. Next month it'll be 10 years since I had them on, and they're still great, still in great shape. And in the 6 or 7 years I had it before then, like 7 years I had the guitar before then, I had it, that was my 3rd refret. So the stainless steel frets really kind of saved the day, and I love them. I wish I had them on all my guitars. Andrew says, Dear Carl, have you ever thought about starting a vlog channel? I've wondered what the mystical shredder of YouTube does in his free time. Mystical shredder of YouTube, that's cool. That will be the name of my album, Mystical Shredder of YouTube. Now, the vlog channel, people have asked to do that, to do that. I kind of have enough trouble getting the content out that I do, and I'm one of those guys that doesn't really do a lot of social media outside of just work-related stuff. I just don't wake up in the morning thinking that there's other people out there who are interested in what I'm doing. There might be, but it's actually just, there's not a lot going on here. I hang out with my dog all day, and I play guitar, and I walk my dog a couple hours a day. That's your typical day here. I don't have a very interesting life. So it's interesting to me, but it's not. I don't think it'd be very interesting to most people. So even if it was, I don't know. I'm just not one of those people that like to put myself out there and assume that everybody needs to know all this stuff. I know that's kind of weird for people who are like online personalities like me, but that's how they get there, is just by putting themselves out there and everything, and just becoming like this yeah, there's like, I don't know. But it's just, my brain doesn't work that way. I get my lessons up, and I'll do some fun stuff every once in a while, but I just don't think about it when I'm not doing it. I don't do like Instagram post a lot, personal Instagram post a lot. It's just like, here's my newest lesson, and yeah. Well, if I'm wanting to hang out with friends and stuff, and I just want to enjoy my time with them and my dogs and stuff, I don't document it and put it up on social media. So I don't think a vlog would work too well. And plus I get real lazy with it, and I wouldn't do it enough for it to matter. I know what I'm doing asks, what's the biggest mistake self-guitarists make? Developing their technique through music. Especially if you want to be a guitar player with like an advanced level, playing level, or upper intermediate, whatever, you need technique, you need coordination, you need to have certain patterns and movements that happen throughout all styles of music, kind of wired into your muscle memory. You get that through repetition. The fastest way to get that is through exercises, detailed technical exercises that isolate those technical problems and have you repeat them over and over again 100 times a day. You don't get that level of repetition in a song. You're not going to see one song that's going to repeat the same thing 100 times. Well, it'd be a very boring song, but these days you'll probably have that. So anyway, no, but when you have real technical challenges that you can isolate, that you see occur a lot in all types of music, when you can isolate them and repeat them a lot, that's how your brain kind of assimilates that whole pattern into like one event in your mind. And that's where true speed and coordination comes from on the guitar. And you need a lot of repetition to make that happen. And in a song, you're always worried about what's coming next. You don't get the repetition. So if you isolate and do your technical work and then go play some music, but have a part of your practice session, like I always tell people in my academy, I have multiple technique courses, but I think, like I mentioned before, alternate picking is the greatest all-around technique work for your overall technique. It's going to make other techniques easier if you're a good alternate picker. So I usually take them there first, and so you should have a part of your practice routine where you're just doing this. You're developing your technique, and you're getting the repetitions you need. And but if you try to do that while just music, and then think, if I do this song that's this ability level, that's going to make me play at that ability level, then I'm going to shoot for this song next and make me play at this level. And that's not the way to do it. That's going to be very frustrating, and it never works out. If you get sloppy technique, you're frustrated, you can't play complete songs. It's because you're just developing it the wrong way. So have your technique first, then go play the song. It's a lot more fun. Grant says, oh, were you ever or are you in a band? Anything we can listen to? Yeah, so I have been in bands, but I have done been in studios and done a few EPs. I haven't really released anything officially. I will this coming year. Hold me to it, guys. Hold me to it. I have to find time to do it because I have a lot of music sketched out and written out and that I'm working on, but not recorded. And so I just need to get past the hump here and start getting on a roll with that. And then hopefully I can get some stuff out there. Jim, what's your favorite hockey team or your favorite guitar? Favorite hockey team is the Vegas Golden Knights. Just saw them play a couple nights ago. Just went to Vegas and to see them play. Favorite guitar is my Eric Johnson Strat right now. Mela, what's the song that made you pick up a guitar? Oh, I talked about this earlier. It would be All Along the Watchtower. And then, but the thing that made me get serious about guitar was Steve Vai's For the Love of God. And then that in turn got me into the Passion and Warfare album, which reset the path of the rest of my life, that album. Specifically that song, and then the entire album. And then that changed everything for me. I went from a guy who listened to just whatever was on the radio and could play some guitar to becoming dedicated to all I wanted to do was play guitar. And I only really kind of listened to music that was like, I guess, more progressive and stuff like that, and a lot of instrumental music and stuff. So that kind of just rewired my brain, that album. Sleuthster says, is YouTube or your Guitar Academy your full-time job? It is. And it's a great job. I'm very lucky to have been able to do that. So Yeah, thanks to you guys, obviously. Ilan says, do you have any odd or unexpected abilities or skills? How does the great Carl Brown blow off some steam? Like I said, I don't really have odd abilities. Hobbies. I play golf some, but I haven't played a lot in the past few months. I've been trying to focus more on my music. But so I say golf would be my main hobby. If I'll probably get back into it, but I don't do it as much as I used to because I really want to focus more on being a guitar player than that's kind of the thing with me. Is like when I get into something, I really get into it. I'm not like a guy that does things halfway. So if I get into golf, I'm going to practice 2 hours a day, and I'm going to study. I'm going to have a couple of teachers. I'm going to be in a simulator 3 times a week. All this stuff. I did that like that for a while. So I kind of like reassess and go back to being a guitar player. You don't need to do this. But I still want to have fun with it and take my golf trips with my buddies and stuff like that. But mostly my favorite thing to do is hang out with my dogs. Chris says, do you do fingerstyle? I do, but I used to be a lot better. But like I said, hopefully that's coming back online. That's why you guys are seeing the nails again, trying to get my classical guitar stuff set up. So hopefully I'll be a real fingerstyle guitar player again very soon. KDX Core is what is the best starter setup for playing heavy metal? So I guess starter setup. Well, I'm obviously a metal type guitar, so I don't know if it's like starter setup, like inexpensive, like entry level, like equipment. These days there's so much good actually I use this Positive Grid Spark amp, which is like $200 or $300, and it's a modeling, but it's actually a real practice amp. So if you're talking about not having to perform out with it and just something for you to practice with, and you can get like good metal tones, that's a great little amp. It's very popular, and that's what I use as well when I'm like transcribing music. I don't use it for recording or anything, but I'll use it. I mean, I don't plug in the Helix and do the whole thing. Just when I'm like practicing or if I'm transcribing music, I just plug into this Positive Grid Spark, which is just sitting on a shelf right beside my desk, and it's I can get lots of cool sounds out of it. So that would be the amp, and then the guitar-wise, just humbucking based metal. My favorite like metal style guitars are generally Ibanez guitars. Ibanez, great. Music Man are great. Those are 2 companies that are probably my favorite metal style guitars companies out there. They make great shred machines, both of them. I would say that they have a starter like RG, Ibanez RGs that are great, the kind of mid-level. I guess I don't know. I'm not too well versed on them, but they make some good stuff. And I play this Sterling by Music Man JP100 it's been one of the main guitars on the channel for over 10 years, and that's a $600 guitar, so it's not a very, very expensive guitar. And it sounds great, it plays great. So anyway, hopefully that helped you answered your question. Seb asks, what's my favorite or best Van Halen song? I am Girl Gone Bad for me. I love that song so much. That'd be my favorite one to play, and that'd be my favorite one to listen to. So I don't see a lot of people who say that, but for me, it's just like it's a masterpiece. Kamikaze Adam says, do you live a comfortable life financially? The guitar industry isn't as proficient as other industries that make good money. Any advice for a 21-year-old trying to be successful? Yeah, I am lucky enough that enough people watch my lessons and join my academy that I live a comfortable life. And I fully get it that the guitar players, musicians in general, it's hard to make a living. I lived completely broke through for decades, just trying to make it and figure out how to survive. And the first thing that ever worked for me was YouTube. But it took a long time to where I could actually make a living off of this online teaching. But I guess, and I get it that it's hard for somebody now to start a YouTube channel, especially teaching songs when you've got people like me and Marty and Justin and Andy Crowley and and Dave, a Guitar Hero Zero. We've done so many out there. We got so many out there for so long, and it's kind of like dominates the market. And I fully get it. That was one thing that I actually timed well in my life, that something came along where I could get in at a relatively early stage. But then again, when I moved out to LA in a band in 2001 or 2000, that's when the whole music industry collapsed. So I lost that opportunity because I was born at the wrong time, But there's new things being developed at all the time. So did I set out to do this? I did not. I did not set out to be a teacher online. I wanted to be a rock star just like anybody else, and I wanted to be a creative musician, somebody who's known for their own music and stuff. And I could still very well be that one day, but right now, this is a great gig. And my biggest advice would be, you have to really kind of spread yourself across all the things that, being younger, you probably know very well about the technology out there, the apps, the different things that are coming out, things that I'm completely oblivious to. Like, I started a TikTok account a few weeks ago, and I was chatting with a guy in like an email. He's trying to tell me what to do with it and how it works, and I haven't really done anything yet. But somebody your age, you're probably very well versed in how this stuff works, and just be true to yourself and do multiple things. And consistency too. It's just like, I've been doing this for 13 years. I've got almost 2,000 lessons up on YouTube. That's the only reason why I have what I have in my life. It's because I just stayed with it. And in the early years, it sucked. It was a lot of work for very little reward. But once you start getting a foothold, it's exponential. It comes very, very quickly. But you gotta get there, stay with the times, and find ways of finding your unique niche in the thing, in the process, and it'll probably work out. So there's more avenues actually for you to make a living than when I was growing up. Back then it was like, you're teaching or you're a rock star. Here now it's like, there's so many avenues, like guitar-based channels. Some of them are like comedians, some of them are teachers of songs like me, some of them do theory and techniques, some of them just do commentary on weird guitar or music-related stuff. And so there's all different types of stuff, and just kind of find your thing. And some people just do react videos. We all have different content, and just find what works for you, and then just stick with it. Gabe says, what is your favorite color? Blue, by far. I love the color blue and all kind of shades of it. Yeah, especially even more as I get older. I don't know why. I just love the color blue. So it will be the color of my next car, I can tell you that. Yong Jisung 29. I'm sorry, dude. I know I messed up your name. I'd love to be better at that kind of thing. Why are you not using the green RG guitar anymore? Nowadays, you're almost using the Sterling Music Man in lessons. Funny you should ask. All right, so you can see these guitars here. I have a couple of J Custom RGs, and they're both green. So one I bought in the mid-90s. I didn't buy it in the I bought it used a few years ago, but it's a mid-90s J Custom RG because I wanted it closer to a guitar, an Ibanez Custom that I had back in the mid-90s. And so I got it in, had a great neck on it, but the guitar sounded horrible. The guitar was just dead. Because it had been taken apart. The Whammy they had put a block in the trim or some weird stuff, and they had just been tweaking the pickups and everything. So the guitar had some serious issues with like sustain. It was just not a great sounding guitar. I just couldn't make it scream. But I liked the way the neck felt on it. So I just hung it up on the wall, and it was just like eye candy behind me in videos. And I ended up buying a new RGJ Custom like a year and a half ago from Sweetwater, and that was the one that has all the Tree of Life vine inlays. So that's a guitar that sounds good. I hate the neck. I don't like the neck on it. I don't like the Super Wizard neck. I feel like there's a shelf at the top and bottom of it, so I didn't like the neck. Plus, I can't use that guitar on YouTube because of the inlays. If I'm teaching a song, nobody could tell where they're at because of the inlays. So people do nothing but complain, I know. So I don't use it because of that. It was really for my own recording reasons. But I didn't like the way the guitar neck felt, so I never used it. And then recently I just decided, wait a minute, why don't I put the neck from the mid-90s RG onto the body and electronics of the new RG? So that's what I just did. These are switched. It's probably, I think it's a felony, because there's like a serial number of one that's on the other one, but it's not the actual serial number from that guitar. So anyway, probably suffering for my art in prison. But anyway, so this is an old RG body and the new neck that I don't like. So, and this is the combination of all the good aspects, the good neck and the good body and electronics, the new. So it's a new RG with an old neck on it. I haven't actually been able to play it yet. I picked it up for my tech a few days ago, then I went to Vegas for the week, and I just got back. So this is going to be given a test drive in the next few hours. So this will probably become my main humbucking standard tune guitar, and then I'm going to throw heavy strings on this guy and use it as my down-tuned guitar, because when I do down-tuned guitars, a lot of people want me to do the metal that's really fast. And you can probably see in these videos I'm like struggling playing it because the strings are just so loose, you can't pick them. So I'm gonna now just set this up for those low tunings so I can play a lot better. I'm gonna put like 10 through 52s on it and then tune it down, and it'll be my low tuned metal guitar. So you'll probably see more of it coming up very soon. And the last lesson, Juan, is why don't you do Malmsteen lessons? I'm sure you are very capable. Thank you, that's a nice compliment. When I first started teaching songs, I don't think Malmsteen was big on having videos, any lessons of his music. That's just through the grapevine. I don't really know if that's true. I do know from just watching, because I researched this stuff, and I'd like to do some Malmsteen, especially some of the classic stuff, The Far Beyond the Sun, Black Star. I'd love to kind of crank into some of that. I spent a lot of time as a teenager studying his music. I loved his music. I loved his playing. So if that was the case and he'd be cool with it, I would definitely do a lot of Malmsteen. And I'd use my Malmsteen signature model to do so. But I'm not sure he is. I watch a lot of, some YouTubers talk about him, and he does, him or somebody does a lot of takedown notices, and I don't know if it's the people are critiquing him or whatever. Obviously, mine wouldn't be a critique, it'd be a lesson because I love the song. So I don't know if he'd be down for that, but if he was, I would definitely do it, but I haven't asked him, so that's why. Anyway, just kind of uneasy about doing it because I don't want him to give me a takedown notice. But anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed this little Q&A. Thanks so much for following me for 13 years and hanging out with me and suffering through my boring lessons. And I hope to continue to put them out. I got some cool stuff planned for the very near future. And if you like what I do here on YouTube, my Guitar Academy, you'll see a link to it in the description. It's really the way to support what I do. But it's better than just donating, right? Donations are cool, but if you sign up for my academy, you actually get something for it yourself. You get full access and support from me, and you get all my courses, and there's some really cool stuff and some cool people over there. So hopefully you'll come and join us. All right, so regardless, I really appreciate you guys watching my videos here on YouTube, and I'll see you again soon.